Have you ever had a dream that maybe came real one day? Or you had a hunch about something and it turned out to be completely accurate? It might be your intuition breaking through. And I would like to take this video and talk about how you can develop it and learn more about what might be going on here. Hi, my name's Clairsight. I'm a professional psychic with over 8 years of experience, and today we are breaking down the different psychic abilities and how to kind of nourish them. It's going to be a very basic guide, but we're going to go and hopefully there will be some nuggets of wisdom that you can take with you today. So there are 4 different types of clair abilities, and these are the way that you interpret the spiritual energy that you are experiencing. So there is clairvoyant, the most common, well, most popular, I think, clairaudient, clairsentient, and claircognizant. We will be discussing all of these today, how to kind of grow and nourish each one of them, and have a few exercises in the middle of the video as well. This is a great year to start learning how to expand your intuition abilities and your psychic abilities. Everyone can do some form of intuition. I truly believe that most people can do something with their intuition. However, most people are not a fully realized psychic, and most people, just like how most people can't be professional athletes, won't be able to get to the pure level of psychic abilities that a true psychic can have. But it does not mean that you don't have some kind of spiritual abilities in this realm. Just like how you might not be an expert musician performing on Broadway, you can still sing pretty decently in the shower. You see what I'm saying? So we'll be going over how to kind of use these for personal use in other videos as well. So buckle up and let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and break down the clairs, if you will. What is each one? What do they mean? And what can each one do? And then we'll kind of go over signs to look for to see which one maybe resonates more with you. So clairvoyant is seeing, images, visuals, flashes, being able to see auras in your mind's eye and the physical world. The aura thing is more of like the physical world kind of thing, but seeing flashes or imagery in your mind's eye, that is clairvoyancy. Clairaudience is the ability to hear things in your mind. Talking, voices, words, impression of thoughts, things like that. It could be just different noises like water, or like, wind in the trees, stuff like that. You could have clairsentience, which is the ability to sense things. Which obviously sight and sound are senses, but this more focuses on smell and touch and feel, right? And so, for example, I have clairsentience as well as clairvoyance. So when I'm in a reading, I might feel the texture of the thing that someone is trying to show me. I might be able to experience the texture of something or how something feels, or like I might feel like water. It depends on the kind of message I'm trying to, they're trying to convey. I also am clairaudient and clairvoyant, which is kind of unusual, but it is what it is. And then claircognizance is the ability to just know things. This is where information just kind of flashes into your head, nowhere, out of complete nowhere. You'll just be walking by and talk with someone and be like, oh, he has a heart condition or something, and that's claircognizance. That is the ability to just know things without knowing them, where information just kind of downloads into your mind. It's different than all the others because this one focuses a lot on just absolute truth, just like it, like the sky is blue, that this is going to happen to him or her, right? That's claircognizance. That one is extenuatingly rare, actually. All the other ones are slightly more common. Clairvoyance being the most common. Clairaudience is generally, I would say, clairsentience is probably second place in my understanding, and then clairaudience, and then claircognizance. It's all very, very interesting in how they all differ, but they're all very similar. So another thing I want to make sure that we talk about today is how to prepare your mind and how to prepare your space. These are both very important topics for beginners, especially because you're not going to have the spiritual gumption to just be able to rapid fire your abilities until you train them up substantially. Okay. So, in the meantime, having a space is very important for your mind, especially. Now, physical space, slightly less important. If you can't have a full-blown altar in your room, like we travel a lot, no way I can just pack an altar with me. That's just not feasible. But I do bring some more portable tools, like my favorite amethyst wand, and we do have some incense sticks, etc. But they're not essential to the well-trained psychic or to you. Tools are not essential. You don't need them, but I highly recommend them because they act as great focuses. So let's go ahead and do like a quick meditation to show you how this can be done easily for your mind, to purify your mind and get you into that right headspace. So take a moment, take a deep breath if you're able to. Now let's close the eyes gently if you can, and do another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again. And again. Very good. Now, just deep breathing on its own can get your head into the right headspace to perform intuition-based readings or connect with your spiritual side. We're going to take it one step further and do a little bit of guided visualization. I want you to imagine that there's a bolt of energy right in front of you, just between your eyes on your forehead. You can visualize if it has a color or not. You can visualize if you feel it, like heat. That's great. And I want you to channel this bolt of energy, this purification energy, right into your forehead. Like a beam of energy just going straight into your third eye. And allow it to swirl and flow and cascade down the rest of your body like a waterfall. You can sit with that as long as you want. But that was just a quick demonstration of how you can channel energy into the third eye area, stimulate it to get you into the right headspace. Grounding, also very important. You can do with like sage smudging. You can do a circle of salt or stones. You could do a black tourmaline crystal to help you ground. But also things that are less heard of is earthly events like eating, drinking, sex, any kind of physical activity, exercise. That is all great forms of grounding. It doesn't have to be ultra mega super mega cool spiritual stuff. You can literally ground by making love to your partner. So there's definitely you have options. Okay. Now that being said, you do need to ground. I recommend after you practice or after you do a lot of spiritual work. Otherwise, you're going to feel really floaty headed and really burnt out. So what are some practices or techniques that you can use to help grow your psychic abilities? There are a few that come to mind immediately. We're going to start with clairvoyancy because that typically is the most common of the clairs. You're likely not to manifest clairaudience or clairsentience right away, unless that's your core clair, meaning the one you start with. We will cover other clair abilities like clairaudience later in a different video, but for the sake of time and short attention spans, we'll just go through clairvoyancy here in this one. So one exercise is called mindfulness visualization. And this is where you picture something simple in your mind, but something that could have a lot of details. For example, a rose is a good example. So visualize that rose in your mind. And then once you have it, I want you to take note of every single detail of that rose. The layers, the colors, the thorns, the leaves, the stem. Is it on its own, or is it in a different scene, like a garden or something? All the notes you can possibly think of, and you can write them down. You can speak them out loud into like a voice note app or something of the sort. Whatever helps you take notes better. I was never a writing person. I always did better with like speaking things out. So if that's you, great, do it. Another exercise you can try is to see auras of things, of people, of plants. If you're starting or just beginning, I'd recommend starting with yourself by holding out your hand like this. See? And then soft gazing on your hand until colors appear. So these could be like little flickers, little flames, an outline of color. Typically, you might see white, but it could be other colors as well if as you advance in this ability or this exercise. You can also do this with plants as well. The key is to gaze at it until your eyes grow soft gazing, kind of like if you're spacing out a little bit in a way. Is probably the best way I can explain it. So then take notes of that, of course. Take everything while you're beginning this practice in whatever form works best for you. And the third practice I have for you is to do scrying. This is where you take a black bowl of like obsidian or onyx or something of the sort, fill it with water, and then either in the darkness you light a candle, or you can put it under the moonlight if you're able to, like during a full moon, and then gaze into the bowl's surface until something should start showing up for you, like faces or figures or animals. Even if it's just shadows that don't make sense, like based on how the water is, like the shadow of this bird shouldn't be there, that's good. Take notes of that. Like I said, take everything, so that way you can learn how you're growing in a very tangible way. Best advice for beginners, 10 minutes of practice a day at least is what I'd recommend. That's probably what's going to get you on like the fast track to success with this. Less is fine. If that's all you could do is 5, then that's fine. But definitely at least 10 minutes for sure. Preferably more. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it, and you just have to use it. You know, it's one of those things you just have to use it to figure out how far you can go with it. So there's also a few ways that you can integrate magic or witchcraft into this practice to give it a little bit of a boost. First of all, I would definitely recommend crystals. Even if you're not a witchy type and magic isn't really your thing, crystals are a huge help in channeling your energy appropriately and getting your head in the right space. To get started, I would definitely recommend amethyst. That's my favorite. But clear quartz or tourmaline, these are all good options. Onyx for grounding, that's good. Or pink quartz, rose quartz is good for like channeling emotions and stuff like that, if that's more your vibe. But yeah, definitely would recommend crystals. Spellcraft can be easily done. Even for beginners, a simple candle spell can help set the right intention. So maybe before a session, you might light a purple candle and, just feel that energy coming into your third eye from the candle and then, get to work that way. There's definitely several methods you can use to kind of do that. As far as like mediumship and channeling spirits and lost loved ones who've passed on, would definitely recommend you learn how to ground and protect yourself first. And maybe we could do another video series on that in more detail, but simply put, learn how to cast a sacred circle. Use salt, use water in a circle around you, and feel that energy click into place and lock in. You want to create wards around you that prevent just anything from getting in. You want only things you invite to come in to enter, right? And then once you get better, you can create internal warding. And this is where you literally ward your mind from intrusion while you channel. So that way, when you dial in, you're only getting the person you're intending on speaking with, or the entity that you're intending on speaking with. And this is one of the reasons why in my mediumship readings, when I do a reading with a client, I always say, hey, who are we speaking with and how are they connected with you? I ask that question simply because I want to make sure that I'm not just tuning in anyone. Okay. I want to channel into the person you would really want to speak to the most. I can do general channeling, but that's a lot more difficult actually. So anyways, those are a few ways you can implement witchcraft in with the practice. Some common pitfalls for beginners in this space. I think one of the big ones is don't force visions, meaning don't force yourself to see something, okay? You have to allow the energy to flow gently through you, and then you interpret that energy. You're not shaping it at all. You're simply an antenna that is here to interpret the energy you're experiencing, okay? Next thing is don't overdo it. You have limitations. As a beginner, those limitations are probably going to be relatively small. Maybe 1 to 5 minutes at most of channeling per day is probably all you're going to be able to handle. Now me, I'm a bit of a heavy hitter, but I didn't start this way. I can crank out 2, 3, 4 hours on a live stream, answering questions back to back before I really start to feel that burnout. Now, some days are worse than others, and I get tired faster, but you know, I didn't start there. Definitely started at like 10 to 15 minutes for me. Your baseline might be different. It might be more, it might be less, but don't overdo it if you're feeling a bit overcooked, if you know what I mean. And then finally, guys, make sure you're doing this with the greatest ethics. We're talking about people's deepest questions. We're talking about people's loved ones. We're talking about very delicate things for people. Be sensitive, but be honest, and trust your early readings, guys. Trust your early readings. They're probably more accurate than you think they are. Just because you're a beginner, if you have genuine intuition abilities or psychic abilities, your intuition is going to work, period. Full stop. All you have to do is learn how to translate what you're receiving. Don't doubt yourself. It's going to make things take longer. I doubted myself too. It's hard. It's a really difficult mental trick to get over because it's like, why do I know this shit? You know, how do I know this? But you have to get over it for the sake of you, for the sake of your abilities, and for the sake of the future clients that you'll be taking on at a later date. So yeah, that is that. Your psychic journey starts today. Let's go embrace it together, and I'll be here every step of the way, hopefully teaching you, guiding you, and holding your hand through this developmental process. So remember, guys, you got to figure out what clair you are. I've mentioned those above. Practice, practice, practice daily. Set up the right headspace for yourself, and don't be so critical on yourself that you doubt yourself into oblivion. If you thought this was helpful, make sure to subscribe for the next video and drop a comment with your thoughts or opinions. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. Brightest blessings. Bye-bye.